and then no Mopey, Centaur Healer, Thragtos, like all aces that he can reanimate. So
on the left-hand side, I have Jacob Thiessen. He is playing, of course, something that we're more used to, which is a band control deck. He has 4 Thragtos, 3 Angel Serenities, 2 Snapcaster Mages, along with a lot of spells in his deck. He has 4 Jace Architect, a Garruk Primal Hunter, a card we haven't seen yet today, to go along with a handful of Detention Spheres, Farseeks, Supreme Verdict, Sphinx Revelation, Terminus, 2 Azorius Charm, 2 Think Twice, 2 Selesnya Charm, and then his lands, of which he has 1 Cavernous Souls to push things through, and then 1 Alchemist Refuge, which is a card we brought up a little bit earlier in his deck. So that's what he's working with. We've got Band Control on the left, we've got Angel and Demons on the right, and we have a Grizzly Salvage resolving.
Yep. We also, Jamal Sims also has 3 copies of Wild Guess in this deck. Yeah.
It could be anything.
Could be anything. So a much different style of Reanimator than we saw in the match of the previous round.
As we do see a Cavern Souls come into play, we'll get the creature type on that name shortly. It looks like Jacob did some amount of mulliganing this game, because he only has 4 cards in his hand and then 3 lands in play, as Cavern names Angel. And now Jacob draws an Angel Serenity.
Stuck on 3 lands.
And Jacob did start on 5. He does have a Detention Sphere in his hand that he could cast. He also has a Snapcaster Mage in his hand, but nothing in the graveyard, and that make that a 2nd Snapcaster Mage now. Now, Jamal's Reanimator deck is a lot different, as we see a Blood Crit come into play for Jamal, knocking him to 18, compared to the one that we just saw previously, which is a much more stock Reanimator deck. Do you lean one way or the other about like which way you'd want to go with Reanimator?
Well, I mean, a lot of it just depends on how highly you value the red removal spells.
Okay.
If the metagame's in a place where you really want to be bonfiring, I like some Skeleton along this line is a little bit better. But if not, to me that's like kind of the biggest edge this deck has. If that's not the case, then I would probably go to some version closer to the one that we saw in the previous round.
Okay. We see a Wild Guess Resolve discarding a Woodland Cemetery. For Jamal, we see just a Snapcaster Mage, not doing anything good with it. For Jacob on the end step, he drew a 4th land finally, which is Alchemist Refuge. So he's at least beginning to hit his land drops.
Yep. Although his hand's still quite poor, unfortunately, for the matchup. I mean, he's just got some board control elements, but any of Jamal's huge threats, Grizzled Brand especially, it's going to be very challenging to beat.
As we see Jamal cast a Faithless Looting, he's discarding Unburial Rites and Gazella, which is a combo, as it were.
It's a combination.
Is a combination deck.
Yeah, there it is.
Gazella's put into play. We're going to see a Snapcaster Mage here from Jacob again. Just the Ambush Viper beatdown.
Yep.
We see Farseek drawn this turn for Jacob, but a Detention Sphere needs to be cast on Gazella. Need to get that thing out of here.
Yeah. Unfortunate that he couldn't cast that Farseek this turn, because he needs to be able to get to his 5s and 6s and 7s here pretty soon.
Yeah. We see a Sigarda now in Jamal Sims' hand. Does he have the necessary mana to cast that? He does have a white, he has a white, and he has a green, so he can cast it if he chooses to. But we're going to see a Terminus here.
Okay.
So away the Snapcasters go. Does Jacob have a 5th land? No, just another Angel Serenity.
So his hand's just 2 Thragtos, 2 Angels, and the Farseek?
Yep. So 5th land coming. Bit of a delay.
Yeah. But even if he gets his stuff online, it's very likely he just gets overpowered here.
Yeah.
That's the biggest problem.
And heaven forbid, Jamal does draw another Rakdos Return. He does have 2 copies in his deck. One is in the graveyard right now from Grizzly Salvage. But if he were to draw another one of those, he clears out Jacob's hand and ends the game immediately. Can't quite see what Jamal drew that turn. It was a Temple Garden. And 3.
Alright, Faithless Looting flashback. Playing a Rolling Tremor and
well as an isolated chapel. I'm not positive.
It's actually kind of mopey right now.
Yeah, it really is.
Some like reactive cards. Some red removal, basically.
He's gonna discard the Sigarda. And probably let that Rolling Tumbler go. Yeah. And Rolling Tumbler, for you guys who haven't seen that one for a little while, that's the Pyroclasm of the format. And calling it a Pyroclasm is being pretty generous.
It's definitely not the same rate as we are used to.
And not only does it cost a little bit more, but as you guys will see momentarily, it also doesn't hit creatures with flying either. So,
well, that can be a power. You can build your deck around it.
That's true. It can be built positively.
Not strictly worse.
Yeah.
It's strictly different.
Yes. It's definitely strictly different.
Yeah.
It does have flashback. It is nice to discard with Faithless Looting. So there are some upsides and there are some downsides. We see a end phase Grizzly salvage here from Jamal, revealing.
All right. Well, since we can cast that angel, I presume that.
I'm a little surprised here by
No,
taking an isolated chapel.
Is he short on white? I think he's missing a third white. Maybe, I don't know. The game is gonna be so draggy.
Oh, he had that Temple Guard in his hand as well.
Oh,
so,
right, yeah.
So he definitely had the mana to do that. It looks like he's emphasizing more on using Unburial Rights to get his threats back instead of actually just hard casting them.
Because I think he still has Wild Guess left. I don't know why you wouldn't lead with Wild Guess. Just more information.
Yeah. So we're going to see Unburial Rights here on Angel's Serenity. Angel's going to remove Sigarda. It's going to take care of Thragtusk. We'll leave Jacob with a Beast. But I agree. Again, and this is the second time that we've seen this today. Sequencing is obviously very important in Magic, and if you want to get as much information as you can before you're going to make your decision.
Right.
So we're going to see a Wild Guess discard the Temple Guard, and it's going to draw him a Rakdos Return and a Mystery card. So Rakdos, if he would have Wild Guessed first, Rakdos Return would have changed what he would have done, I think, drastically.
Yeah.
Additionally, we're now taking registration for the 3 p.m.
Has a Celestia Charm.
Sealed. If you'd like to play Return to Ravnica Sealed with a teammate, please come see me to register.
So this is just going to be a devastating Rakdos Returns if Jamal is willing to just risk getting fired it off.
Yeah.
Actually has enough for just a full clear out here.
Well, I don't think there's any better time than now to go for that.
Definitely doesn't get better.
I see a Clifftop Retreat.
Yeah, so Jamal, I think, just asked for a confirmation of how many cards were in his hands. And then it's just, are you willing to... The thing is, I like running it out here anyway because it's like, it's not like you lose if he has a counterspell here. You know, you go to 9, you have your handful of actions still.
Yeah. You force him to have a counterspell, which is what I like.
Yeah.
If he doesn't have a counterspell, and you know, what he's considering right now is he's considering playing around Syncopate.
Yeah.
Is the card he's trying to play around. And
there's really no way. I guess he. Okay.
And I don't even play around Syncopate here. I just say, upstairs. If you have it, you have it, and if you don't, you don't. And so we see Rakdos Return on the screen for you guys.
It's still a mighty fighting turn.
So that's going to resolve. It's going to leave Jacob with one card. I'm going to guess the card he left was probably Angel's Serenity, but okay, he chose to keep Thragtusk. He just wants to try to get him dead now.
Yeah.
So it's going to knock Jamal down to 9. Thragtusk is going to bring Jacob up to 26. And while Jamal's not facing lethal this turn, he is in some trouble right now.
Also, Jacob's draw step was Detention Sphere.
Yes.
Which is, I mean, it's got some game. I think oh, he's actually at 6.
Oh, he is at 6. Okay, so we missed a hit, so he is staring down lethal damage right now. So we know that Jamal has a Sigarda in his hand, which would do a decent job of blocking. Then he has we see a Devil's Play, we see it on Barrel of Rights. He's got some cards in his hand that he can use.
Yeah.
This is just your classic case of can he get him out in time?
Yeah. And that detention sphere is a big draw here.
So let's see what Jamal decides to go with here. A lot of different lines of play, and you can see him calculating right now exactly what he wants to do.
Okay, so we're going to start with the Sigarda here. Do we still have enough Barrel Rights in our hand to cast with any targets, or no, we're just...
There is an Umbrella Rights in his hand to cast, he just has nothing to do with it right now. We're going to see Devil's Play here on Thragtusk for 3.
And then a Pillar. Okay, so that removes a 5-power guy.
And that's interesting. He opted to... Oh, never mind. It was a... Well, I mean, he's still going to get it. He's still going to get the token.
Right, maybe not aware of that, how that interaction works.
Yeah.
I mean, just getting a 5-power guy off the table is significant.
Well, I definitely agree that he should have killed it. Yeah, there's no argument there. He could have Devil Played it for... He could have Devil Played it for 3, and he chose to Devil Play for 1 and Pillar it.
Yeah.
That's all.
There's a chance he felt, you know, it was a death trigger instead of a least play trigger.
So now with Jamal at 6, Sigarda trying to stand tall. Jacob's draw step for the turn was a Sphinx's Revelation. Sphinx's Revelation for 2, not as impressive as the other Sphinx Revelations we've seen today.
Still probably one of the better draws in his deck on that turn.
We see a Blood Crypt drawn here for Jamal.
A little land heavy.
Yeah. I'm not sure if he has another Faithless Looting down there. It doesn't look like he does.
If you registered for $10 draft number 6, your event's ready to begin. Please meet your judge at the side event stage. Once
So
again,
is he
that's
like,
$10 draft number
he has like
6.
no reanimate targets, no action right now?
Yeah, he has lands and Barrel Rights. He has nothing to reanimate. As far as cards he can flash back, we're looking at on Barrel Rights in his graveyard as well. A Devil's Play, which he could flash back to take care of a token, and then a Rolling Temblor, which doesn't do very much right now either.
Yep. Okay, so we're just gonna run it like that.
So we're at a bit of a stalemate right now. So we're going to see Sphinx's Revelation for 2 here at the end step for Jacob, drawing him 1 Detention Sphere and an Azorius Charm.
Yep.
Not the best of draws there.
Yeah, nothing too good against this hexproof.
Now we see a Hinterland Harbor.
Yep.
We see Jamal drew, it looks like another land there. Can't quite tell. He is reaching around for his mana quite a bit. So you guys see Sigarda, Host of Herons on the screen.
I think he might have drawn a live one.
But he's leafing around. I mean, he's leafing around pretty quick.
Yeah.
Sigarda, one of the few hexproof threats that can really just stop somebody in their tracks in this format.
Yeah, not a ton of hexproof.
And it's also nice because it is one of the hexproof cards that does a nice job against, as far as, you know, being able to attack through Thragtusk because of flying.
Yep.
There are other hexproof cards out there like Lone Revenant, but that one Thragtusk eats for dinner.
So I think we just drew a Supreme Guard, it looks like.
And we see a Hallowed Fountain as well.
We can't really Supreme Guard right now with Jamal presumably choked on reanimation spells.
So we see a Terminus, and he's going to cast that. That's a little bit surprising to
Yeah,
me.
I'm not sure why you wouldn't be happy just to tread water like that.
Yeah, I'd rather just have that in my hand as we see another Sphinx's Revelation here from Jacob.
Yep.
And now Sphinx's Revelation is poised to take this game over.
Yeah, Jacob's just going to take this over now.
We see Garrick, 2 Snapcaster Mages, and a Azorius Charm drawn here for Jacob. Temple Garden for his draw step. And just that quickly, this game has turned right back in his favor. One of the things that Sphinx's Revelation can do.
Yeah, even on a mulligan 5, if you don't close out the game quickly, that card is always looming. There's a Primal Hunter. And we're going to start with our Beast Factory. And the rest of Jamal's threats are covered by the detention spheres that are in Jacob's hand.
Yeah, I don't think he only has 1 Cigar in his deck, so there's nothing else that is hexproof. A Gazelle has already been removed via detention sphere, and I don't think we've seen any other threats like as far as Angel Serenity or Gristlebrand is concerned. So we're going to see a Faithless Looting here, but Garrick is poised to take over this game.
Yep.
We're going to see another Faithless Looting here from Jamal. Really digging now. Bonfire of the Damned is one of his draw steps. Looks like a mountain is the other one. Sever the
I think
Bloodline.
you just have to say go, right?
Yeah.
You have to try to Bonfire away the Garrick plus all the tokens in one shot. You can't. I guess he has enough mana left over to do all that.
Yeah, if he has enough to do 3 and 3, then yeah, I would. You say 2 for that? 1, 2. Okay, so he said 3. Okay. And Sever the Bloodline and Unburial Rites were the cards that were discarded to that second Faithless Looting, as we're going to see another Snapcaster Mage. It's weird. 3 Snapcaster Mage cast this game for Jacob.
No spells. Yep.
And no flashback on any of them.
Yep. But he has another Snapcaster Mage left, so assuming he doesn't die or nothing happens to his Snapcaster Mage, he can present a lethal attack next turn.
Yep. We're going to see a Azorius Charm. Just going to cycle this right away. Maybe he draws a Planeswalker, something he can cast in his main phase, but just a Sun Petal Grove. Jamal draws a card. It is a Wild Guess.
Not a bad draw here.
I'm going to see him choose to flashback Faithless Looting. That was an Angel Serenity. So his hand right now is Angel Serenity and Wild Guess.
I believe this game Jamal got a little too hung up on the reanimation plan.
Yeah.
I think that with the amount of mana that he had and the amount of time that he had, that he could have just viewed his Unburial Rites as, you know, basically a way to prevent 2 removal spells, not so much a way to enable a reanimation path.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that one. So we see he Wild Guesses away his Angel Serenity. He drew a Sever the Bloodline and a Mystery card. And we're going to see him flashback Unburial Rites now on the Angel Serenity he just discarded. And we'll see if Jacob says that's okay or not. And it is.
And you can see the absence of Thragtusk in Jamal's deck has really minimized the value in a lot of respects of his Angel Serenities, because his Angel Serenities often come in blank.
Yeah.
Nothing in his own graveyard to really find. Angel's still plenty powerful, just as a flying Faceless Butcher. He has a couple other creatures in his deck, but he's definitely they were definitely a lot less impressive for him that game than they were in our previous match.
What you guys saw on the end step there, they went through it pretty quickly, but after Angel Serenity had removed a Snapcaster Mage, Jacob used his 4 Snapcaster Mage, decided I would finally like to flashback something. On this one, he flashbacked the Selesnya Charm, removed the Angel, Snapcaster Mage went back to his hand, he replayed it with the last 2 mana he had. That's 4 damage, Jamal's at 4. That's a wrap.
Yeah, I think, yeah, the amount that of action that Jamal faceless looting and wild guessed away, with your opponent mulliganing to 5 and not really doing anything, I think you need to de-emphasize, the amount that you're just trying to rush your guy into play, because that's giving your opponent an avenue to trade 1 for 1. Instead of just viewing that, your Unburial Rights can just be a divination, basically.
Yeah, Unburial Rights. Unburial Rights didn't really do very much that game.
Yeah.
As powerful as that card is, and it's 2 spells built into 1, it sure didn't feel like it that game.
Right. So in the sideboard here, I assume that we'll be bringing in, Jamal has 3 copies of Duress and an Abrupt Decay. That seemed good to me.
Abrupt Decay. Yeah, I mean, there's Attention Sphere. Yeah, that's completely legitimate. Yeah. Anything else really hanging out around there? Anything great?
I mean, Deathrite Shaman's okay, I guess. I don't know. His sideboard's some weird misers. He's got 4 copies of Lingering Souls. I'm not sure what matchup he wants those for exactly.
Yeah, Lingering Souls to me is a card you either start or you don't play at all.
Yeah. Oh, where are we at on the other side?
Jacob's side, here's another Snapcaster Mage.
No explicit graveyard hate, right? No Rest in Peace or anything along those lines?
Yeah. He has 3... I don't think... Oh, I have 3 Purify the Graves in front of me. Sorry. Sorry, I was looking for Rest in Peace. I have 3 Purify the Graves in front of me, and those are... They're fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I would want to board them in if I was him. So I would board in probably those 3 Purify the Graves. He has 2 Tamios in his sideboard, which are nice in this matchup as well. Yep. Could board into the 4th Supreme Verdict, but potential to board into that. 2 negates, 3 dissipates. Counter magic, typically good against these decks. I'm not sure if there's any caverns hiding out in Jamal's deck list.
He has 0 main and 1 in the sideboard.
Okay. And then he has 3 Geist of Saint Draft. Now, Jacob is going to be on the draw this game. And I'm a big fan of Geist on the play.
Yeah.
To try to steal a game. Obviously the Geist plus Protected game that we've seen in previous formats and once today as well.
It's really attractive when you're backing it up with counter spells too.
Yeah.
And
So those are what I would feel are his best options. And we'll see if he chooses to use those options. I do like the counter magic. I love the Purify the Graves, and then the Tamios are pretty nice. I feel like Tamios is better than Garruk in this particular matchup.
Yeah. And another thing that occurred that game when we were talking about Jamal attempted to play around a potential syncopate by Rakdos returning and leaving Jacob with 1 hand. With 1 card in hand. The 1 card that he left was actually that Thragtusk that ended up eating like 4 removal spells.
Yeah.
And then was in play and induced Jamal to use his Terminus. So if that Thragtusk just never enters play, it's very possible Jamal just gets to Devil's Play the token and start bashing for 5.
Yep. It just changes a lot about the game.
With Sigarda.
Yeah, it's just
killing 4 turns,
It's just a situation where, it's reasonable to think about syncopate in that particular turn. But again, you have to weigh the cost of getting this syncopated versus getting every card in his hand.
Right.
And also, I don't know if he took the time to do that.
Jacob was saying go over and over again while he was stuck on lands and didn't syncopate anything.
That's
if he was
true.
Stalled on lands, it's very likely he would have deployed his counter spells at the first available option. So when he did start drawing land, he could just cast his Thragtusks and whatever else instead of having those counter spells jammed up in his hand.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that the odds that he has syncopate there are 0, but there's been some like anecdotal evidence to imply that his hand probably does not have a counter spell in it.
Sure. So we're going to see both players start to shuffle up here. Looks like they are done with their sideboarding at this point. Jamal will be on the play this game with his Angels and Demons deck versus Jacob and his more traditional Bant control deck. And just looking at how that particular game played out, in a typical, what we saw last match in our 1-game marathon, a typical game 1 of Reanimator versus Bant control really does favor Reanimator deck. Yep. Just grinding him out and putting him into the quote-unquote sleeper hold, as it were. Whereas Jamal's deck, I don't really think is going to be able to do that, especially because of the card that you did mention, which was Thragtusk.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and the Terminus Detention Sphere package actually does a lot of work against Jamal's Reanimator deck.
Yeah.
The thing is, and we didn't see this in the previous game, if he's actually able to stick a Gristlebrand, that can just overwhelm any reactive elements that Jacob can cobble together. Last game, it wasn't an out because by the time Jamal was situated to be able to reanimate something, he was at 6, so Detention Sphere just cleared it.
Sure.
But if you could actually get that in play in like a reasonable time frame, that can do a lot of work as well.
So you see the players just playing draw go, which is traditional for this particular format. Nothing really going on in the first opening turns of the game. No Think Twices, no Azorius Charms being cycled, which to your point does make Reckless Wave seem quite appetizing.
Yeah, both of these players would be dead. Actually, if you put me in a 3-player game, I would actually kill both of these guys. You gave me a Reckless Wave on turn 1. So yes.
As we're going to see a Grizzly Salvage here, cast for Jamal on the end step. Set for the Bloodline, 3 lands, and a Faithless Looting are the ones revealed.
So, all right, so he's boarded in the Lingering Souls. Maybe it's there to do some work against decks that are reasonable to have Planeswalkers? I'm not sure.
I mean, it's tough to say. Lingering Souls is good against all versions of decks, just because it's such a good card.
It might also just be a catch-all. Like, Jamal's deck has a lot of sweep in it and a lot of removal. That's, like, not particularly good here, for example. Lingering Souls can just be a card that you always feel good about bringing in. If you have just redundant bad cards, whatever,
sure,
you can just replace them with Lingering Souls. Your deck probably got better. All right, well, that's a fairly good answer.
As we see the Lingering Souls, we see the Lingering Souls police here in Jace, Architect of Thought.
Is that a Rakdos return?
Yeah, there is a Rakdos return hiding in Jamal's hand. Jamal likely is going to want to build to a large enough Rakdos return that can clear Jacob's hand and be able to really significantly hit that Jace.
Yep. It's going to be tough with Jacob being able to +1 every turn and Jamal not in a position to threaten Jace.
Yeah.
He's going to get outpaced here. Unless Jacob decides to fire off a mini Factor Fiction. It's going to be really rough for him to get this Jace off the table.
As we see Gazella and Unburial Rights discarded to that flashback Factor Fiction. Jace, Elevator going up to 6.
Yeah.
Making Lingering Souls just as bad as it was last turn.
So he has a Tamio in hand. I'm not sure what else he's weighing here. All right, so we're just gonna put him in the Planeswalker squeeze, I guess.
Tamio is gonna be able to tap down a land because it has no fear of Lingering Souls tokens because of Jace.
Yeah, they're a combo. Those two Planeswalkers.
They're real meanie heads.
Yeah.
Real tough guy with your good blue cards.
Yeah.
We try to play an honest game.
Not. I mean, he's trying to reanimate a Gristlebrand. It's not.
It feels honest to me.
It's not terribly honest.
That's my definition of honest. We're going to see a Woodland Cemetery, and we are going to see Unburial Rights here on Gazella. But again, even though that's joining play, Tamio has Gazella taken care of.
And I believe Jacob also has 6-land Terminus in hand.
Okay.
So we'll just...
And then Jace has Lingering Souls taken care of, so...
Actually, all the bases covered.
Yeah.
We might have the rare double ultimate this game.
We saw the double ultimate last week in Dallas.
Ooh.
We saw Tamio go ultimate, and then the person with the Tamio after he ultimated his Garrick, 5-mana Garrick.
Ooh.
Got all the tokens, and the Garrick went back to his hand. He's like, play it again, and then draw 6 cards. Yeah.
And the opponent just sat there and just took it?
Kept playing. Yeah. Played on. Not impressed.
Yeah. All right, so there's the Terminus, and now...
Bottoms up and bottoms up. We'll see Tamio tap another land here.
Yeah.
Jace can either go up or down.
Doesn't really matter. Pick at random, it's fine.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, we're gonna go double ultimate, it looks like. Yeah, freezing him off the Cliff Chop Retreat.
Yeah, I think that's smart, especially because he knows he has Wild Guess in his deck.
Yep.
So. Now, Jacob does only have 4 cards in his hand, so Rakdos Return will clean him out, and it can hit a Planeswalker up pretty good, but it can't kill one.
Yeah. So where are we redirecting to?
I hope we're not just going upstairs that route. It
Okay.
doesn't look like we're redirecting anywhere. I don't love that.
No, I mean, yeah, I think you gotta do some work. Probably on, I would assume on Jace.
Yeah, I think you have to not.
I mean,
Again,
it doesn't
rock-
matter. It's all whatever.
Yeah, rock hard place
Yeah.
again. Jace is going to go up to 8, and then Jace is likely just going to pull a threat from Jamal's deck next turn.
Could be a good one.
Yeah, it could be anything.
We might get to see a Gristlebrand.
Yeah. So we're going to tap down Clifftop Retreat again. At this point, Jamal does have access to Wild Guess. And we're going to see a Faithless Looting.
I'm surprised by 0 copy. I mean, this is easy for me to say the way the game is played out.
Sure.
But I'm surprised to see 0 copies of Dreadbore in Jamal's list.
I'm a little bit surprised too.
Because this is like a fine control card, and
Yeah.
his deck is a little soft to Planeswalkers because it's hard for him to attack.
Yes.
So,
There's Reanimator decks that have been built now, even the 4-color Reanimator deck that we saw last match by John Wade. I think he had 2 Dreadbores in his deck.
Yep.
They found room to play such a card.
right. He just discarded an Abrupt Decay and Wild Guess to his Faithless Looting. Grizzly Savage. Revealing either Sigarda or Blood Crypt are his options. So it looks like we're taking the land.
Blood Crypt going to get moved over. Some powerful cards going to bite the dust there and Sever, Bonfire, Sigarda, and Faithless Looting.
Do we have any more action to follow up?
Get moving.
So, we've gone, looks like we've gone ultimate, so we're going to get to,
We're doing it. It's
oh
happening.
yeah, we're doing it. So we're going to finally get to see some of our, what our reanimation action would have been.
Shippy, shippy, shippy.
Yeah.
Come on, keep leafing through, Jacob.
I think that he actually doesn't know there's a Gristlebrand in there.
No,
just yet.
he's leafing through very slowly. He doesn't know there's copies of Gristlebrand.
Are we sure there's any left in the deck? They might got, I don't know.
Boo!
Boo! We've seen this card already.
Boo.
Come on.
No one everyone's tired of Angel Serenity.
Yeah,
Boo!
Jacob, you're lame.
And Jamal, you're lame for boarding out your Gristlebrands. Boo!
Yeah, boo to both of you. Yeah, that is disappointing.
And now Jacob says, I'm going to search my deck. Does Jacob have anything sweet?
I'll get my own Angel Serenity. Boo. Boo.
He's going to get a Jace? Don't get a Jace.
Just go do it again.
Yeah. That's not even a sleeper hold. That's like a worse submission in wrestling.
Yeah.
The abdominal stretch. That's what it is. It's never got anyone to tap out before either. Doesn't even look like it hurts when they're putting it on.
Yep. Well, he's got it cinched in, and it's like, oh, that guy looks fine. Just looks totally fine.
We're gonna get a Garrick Primal Hunter here. Jacob may look to draw 5 cards. Excuse me, not 6, 5.
But if he did it with Gristlebrand instead, it would be
That's what I'm talking about.
even more.
Yeah. Give the people what they
Yeah,
want.
you're on camera, man. It's fine. Just there's no reason.
So yes, the spirit token's hanging out. I guess he didn't remove those with Angel Serenity. I think he just may have, in all his fun he was having.
Yeah.
I think he forgot to remove a little bit more with the Angel's Serenity. So hopefully, for Jacob's sake, it doesn't come back to bite him. We'll see. Because Tamio can't be knocked off of Ultimate now.
So if Jamal's deck was a sandwich, I would say that it has too much condiments and not enough meat. It's like too much stuff to get things set up. Like too much stuff that's like random control elements or whatever, and just not enough like consistency in the reanimation elements. Like it doesn't have enough guys and not enough ways to reanimate them. So
it could use some more pastrami.
Yeah, it could use a little more. Yeah, just less fidgety stuff.
The word you're looking for is pastrami.
Yeah.
You're at a loss of words. It's pastrami.
Yeah.
So we're going to see a Sever the Bloodline take care of the Angel Serenity.
Sort of.
Yes. Yeah. In a way.
Yeah. In a manner of speaking.
And now Tamio going to get back down to 7. Beast token slides over from the Garrick. And just pass the turn back. So Jacob will draw. Jacob draws a Farseek. Jacob's hand is, again, as the Beast token comes across, Farseek, Angel Serenity, and Detention Sphere.
Yep.
Garrick Elevator going up to floor 5.
Tamio up to 8.
Decides to tap the token. He's just going to cast Farseek. I'm a little surprised by that.
Yep. I would definitely be inclined to, if nothing else, I'm definitely just inclined to cast my spells against Rakdos Return guy.
Yeah.
You know? If you're on the fence, you should probably err on the side of being proactive once, you know about that card.
Additionally, maybe I'm a little bit greedy. I just want to ultimate my Tamio, and he's stopping me from ultimating it. And I just don't like that. Now, he doesn't know that Gristlebrand's coming. Here it is.
Sure. Maybe that was in his hand the whole time when
yeah,
we were resolving our Chase Ultimate.
Yeah, and then the Spirit Token knocks down Tamio back down to 7. Jacob going to take a draw step here. He's going to find another Detention Sphere. So
I have to assume this Gristlebrand will induce our Angel of Serenity.
I think it may go to a little after-school studies. Yeah.
This is
so trigger. I like this because it induces him to activate it. It knocks him down to 8, and then like the Beast tokens are gonna knock him down to 2.
Sure.
I kind of like by Detention Spearing it, you're almost inducing him to activate Gristlebrand, which I actually like quite a bit.
Yeah, I guess it's much riskier to angel it away because you could be in like, if he rips a bonfire, now it's just a game all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where it's like been pretty clear through these, 1.5 games that we've played that Jamal doesn't really have much of an answer to a Detention Sphere. We haven't seen like Sundering Growth or.
Well, he actually did just see him discard. He discarded an Abrupt Decay earlier.
Oh,
now that's his only copy.
Okay.
But Jacob doesn't know that necessarily. I could definitely see arguments either way. But yeah, I assume the thing here on Jacob's side is that he's pretty far ahead, and the Angel gives him an ace in the hole in case something weird happens.
Glass case.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I think he is loath to cast that thing unless the game just goes into a very bad direction for him.
So he's going to get himself 2 cards. And that is lethal with Selesnya Charm. Yep.
Boom, Giant Growth.
And again, we go back to the sequencing thing that we talked about earlier. If he would have drawn the 2 first, then he would have known exactly how to set his turn up. So,
yep.
With Tamio, but instead he happened to peel out.
Although a lot of his turn might be predicated on whether or not Jamal activates his.
That's true.
He doesn't necessarily know,
That's very, very true.
Whether or not Jamal activates his Gristlebrand can influence his sequencing, so it's not as clear cut. But yeah, in